The evolution of Eindhoven through the eyes of the city of tomorrow, the STIR Foundation. The historical development of Eindhoven can be divided into four important phases. Each of these phases has been contributing to the identity development of this Dutch city. These phases can be compared with the development of any human being: baby, childhood, puberty and maturity. In 2009, the newborn foundation known as the City of Tomorrow introduced her 5 essential values for the sustainable development of human beings and humankind in general. These essentials are based on ancient family values which apply also for community building. So why not for an entire city or region? City of Tomorrow had introduced them years before, as a modern definition of the 4 times win entrepreneurship of the 21st century. However, they only received broad societal attention after the financial crisis of 2008. At the time, the city of Eindhoven was engulfed in a period of self-aware survival in the financial world. This had been translated, as usual in cities, into the desires for an economy of growth which facilitates the self-interests of the institutions. That tradition is still there, even though a transition is happening in which the City of Tomorrow plays a challenging role when it positioned itself ideologically and practically in Phase 4. City of Tomorrow had looked at reality through critical glasses. Later we realized that an evolution was unfolding itself in which we ourselves were a pioneering spearhead. This understanding brought us a new approach, invitational, patient yet demanding, concrete, challenging, engaging and self-learning along the way. The 4 phases can be seen as physical layers of complexity, as shown in the picture. These, however, need to be completed from a human development perspective as well. Let us look at the phases one by one to try to understand the logic of it all. All this is not only relevant to Eindhoven but eventually to all regions of the world, each developing potentially its own level 4 of authenticity and identity. This will possibly result in all kinds of geographical pearls of humanly clustered expressions, instead of the large instability we suffer today. It is a nice perspective to work towards, together. We are, however, far from it still today. Let us take Eindhoven as a unique example for now. Maybe you get inspired to determine the state of evolution of your own environment along similar lines? Eindhoven was born and developed her first unaware, unstable, baby phase during several centuries, as a small primary infrastructure since 1232. The geographical location of this newborn, medieval town was determinant for its development, and still is. Eindhoven was at the time a logistic trade crossroad in the southern part of what now is the Netherlands, where rivers and roads, east-west and north-south met. Such logistic knot was regularly plundered during those unstable times of military conflicts between the regions. In 1486, for instance, it was so bad that only 6 houses remained standing in the whole of Eindhoven. Unfortunately, we still see such medieval behavior elsewhere in the world. The second phase, the one of unconscious survival, was characterized by the industrial development worldwide that also developed small enterprises in this township. The world of small local textile and tobacco factories was shook up when the Philips brothers decided to set up their manufacturing of light bulbs in Eindhoven. The fast expansion of the enterprise put so much pressure on this small city's territory that it annexed 5 surrounding villages in 1920. Also, the population grew drastically, from 4,000 to 100,000 citizens, due to the annexation and the arrival of people from other Dutch regions, later also internationals. Needs developed for housing, services and to deal with social integration and diversity. Treating people only as resource for financial development was a too limited approach. During those first 2 phases, the city of Eindhoven was conditioned by external influences on which it had hardly any control itself. It had to recover or adjust continuously. The beginning of the 3rd phase started when Philips, at the end of the 20th century, decided to relocate into low-wage countries. In that same period, the local automotive manufacturer, DAF, announced its bankruptcy. The city was suddenly confronted with a huge level of unemployment and empty industrial buildings. It was challenged to define its own, independent identity in a changing world for the first time. This is what we call the "What am I" revelation. A new phase of self-aware survival in a competitive world announced itself. This 3rd phase can be compared to puberty within a human being. It is when one's own real identity emerges while experimenting with one's own qualities, strengths and weaknesses. In order to shape this, the local government, business and knowledge institutions got together and defined the Brainport triple helix cooperation concept. This principle was strengthened in 2010 by the installed city marketing, which named 3 areas of recognizable attention: technology, design and knowledge. This was also integrated into the city logo. This TDK Brainport character can still be clearly observed in the current look, feel and design of the city. The city developed from pure industrial into a dynamic meeting place. But the regional, and global, competitive focus on physical and financial growth, with its speculative and egocentric features, has clear, negative side effects that require attention. In that awareness development, the Human and Eco-Driven City of Tomorrow initiative had started to manifest itself practically at neighborhood level. The foundation saw the aforementioned 5 existential values as the joint responsibility of residents and institutions together, also at the highest urban level. No region in the world had respected these essentials due to focus on financial speculation and growth. Nor had Eindhoven. As a result, recessions, crises and problems occurred that required a lot of expensive and remedial attention. Everyone tried to solve all problems with money. This increased the pressure on the financial system, but also on the costly bureaucratic layering, stickiness and the growing gap between people and the system. The global credit and banking crisis at the end of 2008 suddenly damaged overall confidence and the blind belief in money. The doors slowly opened to other ways of thinking and acting, such as the shared responsibility invitation of the City of Tomorrow. In the process, in 2009, the internationally announced City of Tomorrow initiative emerged as a living laboratory in its own Eindhoven area, ready to experiment with its vision in an inviting way. Slowly, the 2 totally different worlds, the speculative one, financially and growth-driven, and the one based on existential human values, started to mingle at local level. One of the City of Tomorrow initiatives, named Areas, managed to get all local silos at the table together for the first time. Areas had invited all representatives to work together on a healthy, unpolluted environment. This was urgently needed given the position of the city of Eindhoven in the most polluted region of Northwest Europe, largely inflicted by the people and institutions themselves. This has a lot of negative impact on health and productivity, with growing pressure on expensive healthcare, apart from the overall lack of sense of responsibility. Such a healthy, unpolluted living environment is, if we cite City of Tomorrow and Areas, the responsibility of everyone in the region together, not just of a regulating government. Financial interests should not be an excuse to bargain with our health, that of our children, our living environment and ultimately that of our sustainable expectations. The joint attention for a healthy city and region became a fact, but that is only a first step in the fascinating 4th development phase that emerged. The 4th phase is also called that of maturity around conscious living. Everyone is invited to participate, each based on their own self-confident role in society. Just like a family with children does, on the basis of commitment, equality, trust and togetherness. The Phase 4 representation of the City of Tomorrow includes, in addition to healthy air, also other life essentials, such as water, food and warmth. These essentials do not fit in the world of commercial merchandise or lazy consumption behavior. It does fit in as a commonly shared responsibility and area of attention. This understanding gradually creates a circular, regenerative, self-sufficient city, in which everyone plays a role that is in line with those common essentials. It creates a future image of a productive, vibrant city, which has an optimal symbiotic relationship with its population, environment and other areas. A city of and by people, that is healthy, safe and co-reliant, with an integral positive impact on itself and the environment. A harmonious city that does not reason purely from materialism but human existentialism, or, in our words, a sustainocracy. A sustainable human society with a real-time democracy around safeguarding the natural human essences together. But the step between phases 3 and 4 is drastic for everyone in the area, residents and authorities alike. It requires all parties to make behavioral adjustments themselves and towards each other. Letting go of the old, fake feeling of security surrounding speculative money is fundamental. It makes way for engagement in local value creation and mutual distribution in which the various functions in the city support and complement each other. The City of Tomorrow functions as an inviting and connecting catalyst at Phase 4. Money in Phase 4 is just one of many means, and not an end in itself. The goal is mutual coherence in the co-creation and sharing of essential human values. Gradually, trust is created in each other, a warm bond in the power of value creation and sharing, using the knowledge, technologies and awareness that arises. For inspiration about the City of Tomorrow, the City of Eindhoven, and other areas or institutions that join Level 4, you can follow us on our blog, YouTube channel and the relevant global publications. And finally, we quote visitors from other areas that came to visit the Eindhoven version of the City of Tomorrow. It exists. Now we want it too. And that can be done anywhere, as long as we all do it together.